welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in to the Single Man Cookbook. Today's recipe is going to be eggplant parm. We're going to make that from scratch. Well, I'm not making my sauce from scratch. So for this recipe, you can either make your sauce from scratch, which I will have a recipe later on the channel, or you can use your favorite jarred sauce. This recipe is going to require marinara. So stay tuned. We're going to get it popping. Let's get it. And while you at it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody about it. So today's recipe is vegetarian friendly. There's no meat involved in this one. You're gonna have your eggplant coupled with different type of cheeses, your marinara sauce, and we'll create a crust on top of the eggplant. So like I said, today's recipe is gonna be eggplant parmesan. Make sure you get well, I cook in small batches. It's gonna be 2 eggplants. So for this one, I'm gonna be using some fresh basil. This recipe also required 3 eggs. Disclaimer, this recipe is not gonna have your kitchen looking sparkling clean after. You're gonna have a lot of dishes and you're gonna have some mess. So next thing I need to do is I need to set up my dredging station. You're gonna need one station for your flour that you'll mix a little bit of salt in. You'll need another station for your egg that you'll have to beat down. Make sure that you blend in the yellow and the egg whites thoroughly. And then the last one will be our Italian breadcrumb station. For this, you're gonna need 3 different bowls. When I say that, they can match. I don't mean 3 mismatching bowls like what I got, but this is what I got. So, like I said, one of them you're gonna put flour with a little bit of salt. The other one is gonna have your egg, and then this one will have your breadcrumbs. And it's a dredging station, so you have to do it in steps. So you need to put your eggplant, dip it into the flour first, make sure it's coated. Then you move over, put in your egg wash, and then you roll it around in your breadcrumbs. That matters. For the breadcrumbs, I'm using these Progresso Italian breadcrumbs. I'm gonna move over, I'm gonna get the dredging station ready, and that's gonna be right next to the pan that I'm gonna fry the eggplant in. So this is how you're gonna wanna have your dredging station set up. Like I said, you get your flour first, then you'll dip your eggplant into your egg wash, and then your Italian breadcrumbs. And I have the pan, this is not half. This is mostly avocado oil with a little bit of olive oil. You don't want to use any oil that's going to be too overpowering. And then you'll have your rack that you'll set out. Put a paper towel underneath to catch all of the grease, and that's why we'll let them drain before we pop them in the oven. So while I'm doing this, I'm actually going to preheat my oven right now to 400. And I'll let that heat up while I'm working on everything else. All right, y'all, so you'll take your eggplants, and I'm about to show you how to cut them. Make sure your eggplant isn't too mushy. This one's a little bit more brown around the stem than I would like, but I mean, I'm still gonna use it. You want to peel these stickers off and rinse them off. So with these, you wanna start off by cutting off the stem. Trash. And then a little bit off of the bottom. So you're gonna wanna stand them upright, and then make thin slices that are about a 1/2 inch thick. So we won't use that part because it has the outside on there. So you want to have your heat turned to medium high, and what we're gonna get ready to do while this is heating up, like I said, we're just gonna dip the eggplant, flour, egg, Italian breadcrumbs. You per each side maybe 1 minute. It don't take long because you still are gonna go into the oven and finish up. So you'll just lay them out here to let all the excess grease drip off. So in this back burner, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my sauce started. My marinara is gonna go in here, and I'll just let that heat up on a low to medium high heat. Just make sure that sauce and that cheese doesn't stick. Easy to clean. All right, y'all. So this is how we coat it. Ignore that fan. Trying to keep it from the alarms going off. So like I said, you want to do like a minute, minute and a half each side, and then flip it. Just want to let it get a little brown. The last thing that we're gonna need to do before we start getting everything prepared while these are drying, I'm gonna chop up my fresh basil, and I'm gonna get my cheese together that I'm gonna be using. A little bit longer on this side. You don't wanna overcook these. You're basically just cooking the crust on the outside. Should be fine. Because he still will go in the oven for about 10 minutes. And you'll repeat the steps with the rest of the eggplant.
So say good night to the bad guy. Go on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you.
Alright, y'all, so for this one, like I said, we're going to be using that fresh basil. It says Thai basil. To be honest with you, I really don't know the difference between the different basils. So we're going to use what we got. Get rid of the stems. That should be enough. All right, so the most challenging part is done. Your most challenging part is always going to be all of the steps that go into coating the eggplant. The rest of it's going to be easy. I'm going to get my cheeses ready, and yeah, I'm going to get my cheeses ready. My sauce is cooking up, and the eggplant is still dripping all of the excess oil off. So everything else is just going to be getting this stuff plated onto the dish that we prepared for the oven earlier, and pop it in the oven for 10 minutes so it can cook down. So I told myself I wasn't gonna show the store brand on products, but I'm just gonna let y'all know what type of cheeses I'm using. So I do have 1 bag of some shredded Parmesan that's gonna be used as a topper. Going inside, in between the eggplant, I have this shaved 3-cheese Italian blend. You probably can't see it, but it's Parmesan, Romano, and Asiago cheese blend. And then of course I have some low moisture mozzarella. So I'm gonna show y'all what I do with this. We're gonna get it in there. It's gonna be EA Sports in the game. I'm actually gonna make 3 out of this. I said 2 earlier, but I am going to do 3 eggplant parms. Didn't realize I had that much extra. Alright, so I'm gonna pop this into the oven at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. Alright, so all of your washed basil, go ahead and get you a napkin. Get all that excess moisture off. All right, y'all. So it finished in the oven. This is what it comes out looking like before we do our next steps. So the next steps, this is gonna be the fun part. Take a little bit of Italian seasoning. Some crushed red pepper flakes. Ground black pepper. Of course, a little bit of that kosher salt. We got our sauce. This is just gonna get drizzled on. Oh yeah. The strange thing about this recipe, y'all, is it's called eggplant parmesan, but the only part that you use anything related to parmesan on is gonna be on top of the marinara. Stupid, right? Sure does taste good though. Just want to let it drizzle on around. And now, Parmesan and basil are gonna get put on top. So you can take a little bit of your basil, your fresh basil, put a few strips. This basil really sets it off. It is pretty strong because it's fresh, but it sets it off, man. Without the basil, you're losing. So don't skip this part. Get that fresh basil. And again, I know I'm gonna have some critics, some eggplant parm critics in the comment section telling me that this isn't the way to make it. This is the way that I make it. If you have any other tips, go ahead and feel free to put them in the comment section, and I will try to make it that way. This is my way that I make it though. All right, so all the hard work is done, y'all. I'm getting ready to pop this back in the oven. The oven's still set at 400. I'm gonna throw it back in for another 5 minutes, and I'm gonna check on it. Hopefully the Parmesan is melted. I know all of the cheese in the middle is nice and melted. So this is gonna be delicious when it's finished, y'all. All right, please excuse the mess. I'm in the process of cleaning as I'm cooking. So the timer just went off. That's 5 minutes in the oven with the Parmesan and the basil topped on top of the eggplant. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check on it. I think I wanna create like a slight crust on top. So if it's all melted, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn that broiler on and I'm gonna throw it in for 2 minutes just to kind of create like a nice crusting on top of it. Let's check on it. So without spilling it, this is what we're looking like right now. So the cheese is melted. I'm gonna just set this on the counter for a second. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn that broiler on. All right, so I got it popped back in the oven. It is on broil right now. Make sure you're only doing it in increments of 2 minutes, man. You don't wanna throw all of your hard work down the drain and mess it up. So I got it in there right now. Like I said, it's on 2 minute. Got a minute and 16 seconds left. And then I'm gonna check it. If it still needs a little bit more crusting, then I'll pop it back in for an additional 2 minutes. If y'all love this recipe, man, tell somebody about me, man. Tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody about it. Tell them tune in, man. I got all kind of stuff in the vault. Let's get it. 2 minute timer, let's check it.
It's good to go, bro. It's good.
All right, y'all. Finally, at the end of this messy, time-consuming recipe, I have no clue why I wanted to pick this recipe to do so soon. Man, it's a lot of steps, but the end result, I'm talking about this immaculate. Oh yeah. So you get that perfect amount of crust. Wait for the camera to focus. Perfect amount of crust. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna let it sit and lock up a little bit. I'm gonna plate it and slice into it to show y'all what we doing. All right, now it's time for the moment of truth. Gonna go ahead and get that plated.